going on, dudes and dudettes? So finally have something to talk about, sports related. And yes, right before this, you did see a bit of stuff I had on a little mini vacation I went on for my niece's birthday up there in Laughlin, Nevada. It's pretty cool to revisit that place again. I only been there when I was a bit younger and didn't really get to experience it fully, but it was fun going back. A lot of people there were wearing masks, but a lot of people weren't as well. They do still have the safety measures, like separating people 6 feet and everything like that. We did our part, wore a mask as well. So yeah, it was fun to get out there. Don't have any symptoms so far coming back the last couple days, which is good. So hopefully be able to do something like that again, but just, the COVID relief safety version some point this year. But yeah, as long as you and mostly everyone around you stays safe, you should be fine. So let's get into the main reason why you're here, hopefully, and not just for these dimples. So yes, a little bit of USC news to start off. So yes, USC did lose a couple of key contributing guys that they were looking for this year on the football team. Wide receiver Kyle Ford, he had suffered an ACL injury while in his senior year in high school, so he missed pretty much the first part of the USC football season last year, but he did play in the final couple games and even scored a touchdown against Oregon. So we kind of had a lot of high hopes, especially me. He was a 5-star guy, so he's very talented, but once again, it does seem like he suffered another ACL injury, which sucks. I don't know if it's in the same knee or not, but it looks like he is going to be out for the whole year just because of how late it has happened and how close it is to the season. So it does suck, but hopefully he'll be able to redshirt again so it won't count. He'll be a 3-year freshman going into the following season, which is crazy. But another guy who was injured is the outside linebacker Elijah Winston. He has a broken ankle. I don't know if he's officially ruled out for the season. I know he might miss most of it, so he might as well just sit out to save that year of eligibility. But we'll see how that goes. An ankle seems a bit easier to come back than an ACL, or at least quicker, but we'll see how that goes. And then sad news, this last Sunday for Father's Day, Max Tuerk, the ex-offensive lineman for USC and an ex-Chargers player as well for the offensive line, did pass away. I believe he was on a hike with his family or something like that up in Cleveland, and he suddenly had passed away. Don't really have much news other than that, so it's just tough to hear. A guy who affected both of my teams, but hopefully his family is doing well and they'll get through this. And remember, fight on forever, baby. And then also a little bit of Chargers news. They are gonna, according to head coach Anthony Lynn, they're gonna work out. It looks like they could work out Colin Kaepernick, and I think that'll be a good thing, just because see what he has left in the tank, and maybe a couple of guys next year won't want to hit him as hard, so they'll let him get away with stuff. So it'll be good to have him on our team instead of somewhere else. And yeah, I think it's a good win overall if he does decide to want to try out for the Chargers. And then also Zion Williamson, in that lawsuit that was brought up against him from that ex whatever chick she was, apparently he's been granted the ability to not have to go in and get questioned at court, which was a pretty big thing for him and his people. So it's a good thing, I guess, for him. It's a victory for him, so hopefully he won't have to talk. So at least that's a minor victory in this case so far. Some reports about the bubble that's going to happen in Florida for the NBA, that an executive said that no matter what, LeBron's going to try to get the season to go, which is pretty obvious because he's really close to getting another title. In my opinion, it sets up perfectly for them because they probably won't have to play a full 7-game series or anything like that. But yeah, I don't mind LeBron having that mentality because he's on my team. But there are guys like even a couple Lakers players, Dwight Howard and Avery Bradley. They were both uncertain or didn't want to play at first, but Dwight Howard has come around recently saying that he would play if they did resume back in Orlando. But Avery Bradley, the shooting guard, is more of one that he wants to kind of not play just for the social injustice and try to get that information out more. But like a lot of people are saying that it's probably going to be more beneficial for players to play and be able to have that platform and be on TV at that time when no one else is really going to be, especially when it comes to sports related things. So probably better to be in the bubble on TV and get your word out as well. So it could work out both ways for everybody. Then even like the young players are kind of worried just for, second contracts and everything like that, that they're looking for the NBA to have like a little separate insurance policy for them in case they were to get injured in that area, because technically it's not, I know they signed contracts and everything like that, but it's not 100% what they signed up for, because they are supposed to be playing at their home arena, but they are playing technically on the road and in an area where they don't have 100% freedoms that they would normally have if everything was normal without the virus. So yeah, I kind of understand. As long as they help them out with something like that when it comes to injuries, I'm all for it. So as long as the NBA can agree to some stuff like that, we get the ball moving, I think. Then for some reason, ESPN named USC's quarterback Keaton Slovis the most exciting player on USC's roster. I don't know if they ever heard of wide receivers Amon-Ra St. Brown or Tyler Vaughns. They're pretty awesome. Or running backs Stephen Carr and Marquise Stepp. They're pretty awesome as well. I think there are a lot better exciting players that he's gonna be throwing to that are gonna make him look good. So I think you had to choose a skilled player, even a defensive player, other than the quarterback, because he's not really USC's number one player in my opinion. Even though a lot of people like him, he's still kind of an unknown for me, even though he did very well for his true freshman season. But speaking of USC football, so they're trying to limit capacity if football does happen later this year in the stadium. So that's not going to be a full stadium, which I think is good. I think what they should do is people who are season ticket holders, because even for a team like the Lakers, how popular they are, every single seat is not full because of a season ticket holder. So I mean, I'm pretty sure USC is the same thing. So if that is even like half of that, what that stadium could hold, which is about 40,000 to the 80,000+ the Coliseum can hold, and you just separate those people all along the stadium and maybe give them a discount if they would be paying for somewhere a couple rows farther down and they have to sit up higher, give them a discount as well, or some other type of perk, then people would buy it and they would still go for it. So I think it could work out for everybody involved, and hopefully they'll be able to let other people get in on those tickets as well if they wanted to go to a football game later this year like myself. And then also USC football did make a big add-on to their football staff, in my opinion. Ex-linebacker Hayes Pillard, he played linebacker for USC, and he even played for San Francisco, the Chargers as well, Philadelphia. So he's been around the NFL as well. He's a very talented player. While he was at USC, they're definitely one of their leaders. So I'm glad they're bringing back captains and ex-leaders, ex-talented leaders of the USC football team to be coaches or assistants on the team. And I think that's going to be beneficial for the future of USC, and try to get guys like a Reggie Bush or Matt Leinart back at USC as well, whether it's coaching or athletic director, any type of department would be very great in my opinion. So yes, to sort of finish off this video, we did have 2 more preferred walk-ons signed with USC. To remind you, walk-ons, they don't get a scholarship, but they do have the opportunity to earn one later in their college career. But right now they are going to school paying their own way, or most likely getting financial aid help from USC because they're in the athletic program. But an offensive tackle, Joe Bryson, he selected USC. And then Nathan Wineta, he's a long snapper from Purdue. He selected USC as well. So glad to have him on the team. Hopefully they can make the team at some point. I'm pretty sure the long snapper more than offensive tackle, because I think USC is losing their offensive or their long snapper within the next year or two. So he'll have an opportunity to get on the team that way. And then Cordy Glenn is an ex-Cincinnati Bengal offensive tackle. I think he was a left tackle, which is a position the Chargers need. And they're asking if he would be a good fit for the Chargers. I think so, because he's still not that old and still has a lot of talent. He was just on a crappy team, which is why he wasn't able to be as consistent, most likely. But I think if he came to the Chargers and competed for that left tackle spot, he would probably win it or be the first backup behind it, in my opinion. But also guys like Jason Peters, Chargers still haven't looked at him at the left tackle spot. I don't know why they're just not bringing guys in to. I mean, I do understand why, because it's the COVID stuff. You can't really sign someone because you can't do a full-on health check and everything like that. So I understand why they don't want to sign anybody, but at some point they have to make these small mini deals to get these guys in before anybody else decides to sign them, because once you do, you won't have anybody. And a lot of the guys that they think that are on the team that can fill that position, I don't think they're going to be able to. It's going to be too much work for them. And then this story has kind of been getting some more headlines recently. I don't know why, but I know I've mentioned before that they've done this trade or wannabe trade where the Lakers send Kyle Kuzma and now it's Danny Green, I guess, to match up salaries to the Sacramento Kings for Buddy Hield, who just recently signed a long contract there. But I guess with the two salaries of the Lakers players, it would match up, so it would work. And they probably have to throw in, Lakers probably have to throw in another future player or a future draft pick as well. But I just think having Buddy Hield solves a lot of problems on offense, but defensively you're kind of still in the same, and you actually lose one of your better defending players in Danny Green, so it might actually hurt you if you do this trade. Kyle Kuzma is not as explosive and consistent, I guess you could say, of a guy like a Buddy Hield, who can go off for like 30 or 40 points at times. Kyle Kuzma does it like a handful of times throughout the year, but Hield could do that at least once a week, in my opinion. But yeah, could be a beneficial trade for the future, but I just think if Buddy Hield doesn't work on his defensive abilities, then it's kind of like a lose-lose trade, and you're spending all this money on this guy for the future instead of going for other players that are probably better. So yeah, that's how I see that. And then some miscellaneous music news I like to talk about from guys I like. So apparently Blink-182 is working on new music. I know they had a record come out within the last 5 months, I believe, might be a little bit more, and they're already working on new stuff, so that's pretty cool. Nothing better to do than work on stuff while you're at home and you can't leave, really, so that's good for them. And then some weird little bit of lack of confidence news coming from Green Day, saying that they almost didn't really want to release the album American Idiot just because they didn't think people were going to be ready for that type of rock opera or that type of different direction they were going. I remember there was a story where they did that whole record and somehow they lost, or it got deleted, like all those files, and then they either had to remember or try to redo the record, and they said that actually helped them because it fixed up a lot of things that they probably were doing wrong with the other older songs and made them to what I think is probably one of their better full-on through records. As far as like rock opera, like what people think it sounds like Queen, like the multiple songs, they only technically had 2 songs that were like that on that record, where they're like 7 or 9 minute songs and they kind of all blended together. It sounds like 5 songs blended together, which is really cool. But I mean, I find other songs on there like Boulevard of Broken Dreams, and the ending song What's Her Name is 2 of my favorite songs on that record compared to what that record is called, American Idiot. That was the more popular song, but I'm kind of over it. I could skip it on my playlist. I'd rather listen to those other epic songs. So yeah, I think overall it's a great record. I'm definitely happy they put it out. I'm pretty sure it definitely got them into the Hall of Fame a lot quicker. I think they were inducted like 2015, which I'm sure a lot of older bands were upset about because Green Day is probably still going to continue to keep going on, play music for another 20 years or so, because that's how young they are. But when you're good, you're good. That's all I got to say. But thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. I know this might be a little bit long, but had to get all this information out. And yeah, I had a lot of space this time, so I was able to talk a little bit more. But yes, I'm editing now. Thank you very much, and fight on.